When we refer to death, the feelings that inevitably surround us are complex and profound. Sadness, fear, uncertainty, and a sense of emptiness that seems impossible to fill. Yet, this crucial moment arrives for all of us, sooner or later, according to a design that escapes our rational understanding. Some believe it is determined by the day that our very soul chose before being born into this physical plane, as part of a larger spiritual contract. When that beloved person dies, when their heart stops beating and breath ceases forever, those who remain, family members, friends, life companions, are the ones who find themselves asking thousands of questions. Questions that echo through sleepless nights, in moments of silence, in tears shed. How will they feel now? Where will they have gone? Will they have reached that light people talk about so much? Will they have finally found peace? Will they be well? Wherever they are now. Today we will explore together 12 fundamental aspects that those who cross the threshold of physical death experience during this extraordinary and mysterious passage. At the beginning of the process, when a person begins to cross the delicate threshold that separates life from death, an extraordinary and deeply comforting phenomenon occurs. The dying person has a clear and vivid vision of their loved ones who have preceded their passage into the afterlife. These are not hallucinations or feverish dreams, but a real and tangible perception for those experiencing it. These deceased loved ones are already present, waiting. Even before physical life completely abandons the body, they wait with infinite love and patience, ready to welcome the one who is about to join them. While the person physically departs from this world, their loved ones on the other side are there, vigilant and loving, ready to guide them through this passage. What might seem frightening becomes a moment of joyful reunion thanks to their presence. They lead them toward that bright and warm light that represents the portal to a dimension of serenity and profound peace. The second fundamental aspect concerns the progressive and total detachment from everything belonging to the earthly dimension. Those close to death experience an increasingly marked separation from everything surrounding them. Material possessions accumulated during life, daily worries, objects they may have been attached to, the routines of everyday life, all of these begin to fade. This sensation of detachment, far from being painful or traumatic, is actually extremely positive and beneficial. It allows the soul to transcend without the weight of material attachments, to face the great passage without obstacles that might derive from excessive attachment to the physical world. It is as if the soul progressively lightens, preparing for flight toward higher dimensions when the actual physical death occurs. Individuals experience something that many testify to be absolutely extraordinary. They have a vision of their own body from above, as if they were floating above the scene of their death. From this elevated perspective, they clearly see their own inanimate body, the people gathered around, the tears of those remaining, the confusion and all the emotional turmoil connected to that moment so charged with meaning. They perceive and feel everything with surprising clarity, as if they were observing the scene through the eyes of a flying drone with a 360-degree view of everything happening. This experience, documented in countless near-death testimonies, confirms that consciousness does not cease with the cessation of bodily functions. Sometimes, after physical death, souls remain temporarily in this dimensional plane to visit places that had particular significance in their earthly life, or to say goodbye to other family members who were absent at the moment of passing. This phenomenon could explain why many people report having dreamed of or distinctly perceived the presence of recently deceased relatives, even when they were not physically present at the moment of death and had not yet been informed of what happened. These spiritual visits represent a final act of love, a last goodbye to people and places that represented important anchors during earthly existence. In the crucial moment of passage, individuals experience what is often described as a life review. They relive their entire existence as if watching a high-definition film. This is not a passive process. They carefully examine positive experiences, negative ones, and even those apparently neutral or insignificant, understanding their true meaning in the broader context of spiritual growth. This profound review process helps them evaluate whether they lived fully and authentically, whether they followed their heart, whether they loved enough, whether they forgave, whether they learned the lessons they came to learn on this plane. It is a moment of extraordinary understanding and awareness. Near-death experiences frequently present themselves with common and recurring elements. The vision of a great, bright, and welcoming light, profound sensations of absolute peace and tranquility. The perception of being in a paradisiacal place, beautiful beyond all imagination, from which the individual would no longer want to leave. This light represents much more than a simple luminous phenomenon. It is the final destination, the guide toward a dimension of indescribable beauty, perfect harmony, and eternal peace. Many describe this light as pervaded by unconditional love so powerful it is almost tangible. Once the passage is completed and they arrive in the other dimensional plane, individuals are welcomed with immense joy by other loved ones who were waiting for them eagerly. These beloved beings embrace them happily, ready to continue together the spiritual journey in this new dimension of existence. Not all the deceased present themselves immediately to guide the newcomer. Some wait patiently, respecting the times and needs of the soul that has just completed the transition. But the predominant sensation is that of a joyful reunion, of a return home after a long journey. During the passage, individuals gain access to a deeper understanding of their past lives. They learn important lessons from previous existences, finally understanding the true reason for their passage on this earthly plane in this specific incarnation. Past lives unfold like an open book, showing choices made and those not made, opportunities seized and those let slip away. This understanding profoundly influences the possibility of returning to the physical plane and the ability to consciously shape the next existence if one chooses to reincarnate. Luminous figures and spiritual guides reveal themselves during this passage, accompanying the individual and continuing with them even in the afterlife. These wise and loving entities patiently explain every aspect of the earthly life just concluded, helping the person fully understand the meaning and consequences of their own actions, words, and thoughts. They do not judge, but illuminate. They do not condemn, but help understand. Their presence is a source of great comfort and wisdom. In the transition process, individuals arrive at a profound and transformative realization. They understand that everything, absolutely everything that happened in their life contributed to their spiritual evolution. Every event, even those that seemed random, painful, or unjust, was part of a larger design that the soul had consciously chosen before. This awareness leads to an understanding of the inestimable value of the earthly existence lived, with all its joys and sorrows, its victories and defeats. After examining the totality of their experiences and understanding the profound meaning of the life just concluded, individuals find themselves facing a fundamental choice. They decide whether to reincarnate again on the physical plane to complete what they consider still incomplete, or whether to continue their evolution by remaining in the astral and spiritual planes. The choice to reincarnate is neither universal nor obligatory. Some souls prefer to remain in the higher dimensions and progress through ways other than physical reincarnation. It is a deeply personal decision, guided by acquired wisdom and the level of evolution. Finally, the most profound and transformative aspect. Souls acquire full awareness of a supreme being, called God, Source, Supreme Light, or by other names in different religious and spiritual traditions. The soul realizes its true divine nature, its eternal connection with this source of infinite love. It experiences indescribable joy and illumination that pervades every fiber of its spiritual existence. In this state of bliss, it ardently desires that its loved ones, still incarnated on the physical plane, know of its happiness and eternal love for them. For this reason, it sends them signals, vivid dreams, synchronicities, subtle but unmistakable signs that are often perceived by those who remained and who have their hearts open to receive them. These 12 aspects of the journey beyond physical death offer us a perspective of hope and understanding, reminding us that death is not an end, but a transformation, a passage toward different and marvelous dimensions of existence.